Might as well, yeah.
Omar and Cedric were out of control. Fucking out of control. At some point, Cedric shoves his mic under the back of Omar's t-shirt and sings through his t-shirt. And then he gets mad at the fucking crowd for moshing. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we listen to one of their records. We break it down. We get into the lyrics, music, how it was made, where it was made, and everything in between, and we try to have a good time doing it. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars and 5 stars only. Don't be that jerk. Please don't be that jerk. Give us 5 stars. Don't be a Bocephus. Don't be that man. While you're listening, all the social media is at Asinine Radio. Go follow us on Instagram, all that shit, TikTok, wherever you want to go. We're on there. We're on even some of the more obscure apps. Shit you probably never even heard of. We're on there.
Shit.
We're on, I'm not going to say where else we're at, but
Spotify.
We are. Yeah, well, of course we're on Spotify. Coming soon, hopefully, video podcasts. Hopefully, that is coming very, very soon. We're gonna start rolling that out in the very, very near future. So stay tuned for that.
What is like a fucking Fortune 500 company over here?
We gotta prepare for it, man. We gotta hype the people up. We gotta hype them up.
That's good.
Oh man. All right. Anyway, what what are we doing today, Jeff?
We're doing At the Drive-In's Relationship of Command.
Now, Jeff, what's your origin story with At the Drive-In? And so what do you got? Go.
Because I think I said this in Raleigh episode, but I don't remember the exact date. It was through you in some capacity, either At the Drive-In or Mars Volta. So I don't remember like when it first started, but I do remember just like loving this album, and even non-musical friends of ours loved a lot of these songs. Especially like Enfilade, like our group of friends just like came together on that song. So I don't know when it was. It had to have been like towards the end of high school.
Okay.
But I don't know, kind of boring.
That's fine. It's an origin story. What do you expect? My origin is 8th grade. It was in 8th grade. I saw the video. It was right when the album was coming out. I think it just come out actually. And I saw the video for One Armed Scissor. I believe it was on MTV. I don't think MTV2 was even a thing yet, but it was like really late at night, and I saw that, and I didn't really like it because I'd never heard anything like it before. And then it took me like a couple weeks, and hearing it more and more, I really got into it. And then I actually ended up just burning a copy of this. I didn't actually buy this on CD. I burned a copy of it. And then I've been a fan of at the Drive-In ever since, and obviously the Mars Volta and everything related to the band. But that's my origin story is 8th grade of high school, or grade 8 as some people say internationally.
Grade 8.
Grade 8. So
silly.
Yeah, people are silly outside of the United States. But so that's what I got. What are your initial thoughts? What are your thoughts on this album, Relationship of Command?
Just off, it's kind of on topic. I like when bands release a greatest hits, a best of, whatever, that's not just titled best of greatest hits. Like this station is non-operational. I like when bands do that. I think that's cool. Yeah.
I'm surprised you have such a connection with that comp.
I mean, it's because it's accessible. It's a fucking greatest hits comp, and it's, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I had it. I got it on CD when it came out, but
I don't think I've
it's
ever
a weird
had
comp,
any
though.
I don't think I've ever had any At the Drive-In on CD.
Really? Okay.
I don't think so.
I mean, really, now that I think about it, the only at the drive-ins I've ever had on that I bought were Relationship, or not Relationship, but the station is not operational, and Via. The only ones I ever got on CD.
Yeah.
Everything else was always burned. Fucked up as that is, but whatever. I spent enough on this band, on those two guys anyway, with that damn Mars Volta box set.
That's true.
So,
true.
I don't feel bad, but
Put to the ringer on that one. Yeah, let's so first impressions of the album. I don't remember the first time I heard this album in its entirety. I just remember a time where I never heard of At the Drive-In, and then I remember a time that I love this album. So there was like no middle ground. So I think like probably the first time you played this for me, I was like, holy fuck, this is really, really goddamn good. Because how can you not like the opening of Ark Arsenal, right? Like that,
right, yeah.
It sets the tone for this album. And if you've never listened to this band, it sets the tone for the band and like what they perfected, what sound they perfected. So my first impression of the album is Ark Arsenal. Like that's setting the tone for this band. And kind of like, I don't know, bleeding into like the Mars Volta. It's kind of saying like, hey, here's a lot of like soundscapes we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know it yet, but I knew it when I listened to it. I said, yeah, they're going to be better. They're going to do something else. They're going to do something different. And it's going to be great. So I knew that before they knew it. So
You did.
yeah,
You knew it after they had already made the Mars Volta.
exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, my first impression, the moment I heard this record, I absolutely loved it. But I mean, like I said, it took me a few weeks to get into One Arm Scissor, but then once I heard the album in its entirety, it was so great. And I just remember like there was the hype around this record when it came out. I remember not a lot of people at school really were into this. I remember seeing people have this like the cover like in their binders. Remember how like we had the binders like the clear front so you could put like pictures and stuff in there?
Yeah.
I remember a lot of kids had the Relationship of Command like little CD booklet in their binders. And yeah, so that's my first impression. I mean, I loved it when I first heard it, and then like right after that the fucking band breaks up, and then at that point, you know, the Mars Volta kind of starts, and then that's a totally different rabbit hole which we've gotten into before on the pod. So go check out the
numerous times.
Yeah, go check out the Mars Volta episodes because they're fucking great. They're fun. But yeah, that's my first impression. I loved this record. It just sounded so fucking different. There's nothing that sounded like At the Drive-In. I mean, although I'd never heard Fugazi, but that's really the only band I feel like you can really compare At the Drive-In to is Fugazi.
Not this era of At the Drive-In though.
Yeah, earlier At the Drive-In, but
yeah.
But even then, like it's not that big of a comparison. But anyway, 0-2. So so do you have any stinkers on this record?
No. I mean, full disclosure, every song's a banger. Even the 2 bonus. Did you do the bonus? We did the bonus.
Yeah, I did the bonus because I've never known this album to not be have the bonus tracks of
and those 2 bonus tracks are, God, fucking beyond bangers.
They're so good. Yeah, Extracurricular and Catacombs. Actually, until this week, I never knew that they were bonus songs because I've always known this record to have them.
I always thought they were part of the record too.
Yeah. So now that I think about it, this is my vinyl. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
Oh, he's leaving. Oh,
and I just realized, yeah, my vinyl doesn't have Extracurricular on it.
Mine doesn't either.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the bootleg.
My boot.
Your boot. Yeah,
Which is kind of weird, like, because I know those songs very well. So, like, why the fuck? I guess just listening to this band often enough, I know those songs. I think that's kind of weird for me, at least.
Well, I think it's because, you know, whatever copy you had prior to the streaming sites was mine, and my burned copy I had of this record had Extracurricular and had the bonus songs on here.
That's probably true. Like my iPod version probably has both of those songs on it.
Yeah, because you stole all the music from me. So.
Oh, not all of the music.
Most of it.
Joe Baca gave me a lot of music.
Yeah, but you took most of it from me. Most of it. But anyway, yeah, I have an OG copy of Relationship of Command. I paid kind of a pretty penny for this one, but no regrets. Got this one from Grace Records. Remember, I was with you. Or no, actually, you got it for me. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, hold on there,
you
dude.
picked it up for me. Yeah.
I picked that up. That was early on. That was before I was spending money because I would that would be in my collection right now if it was today's times. But I got that from Wooden Nail or Wooden Tooth. I can't remember what it's called, but they're in Tucson. That's when I visited Tucson. I went to 3 record stores in Tucson, and that was on the wall. And I asked him if he would go down. He's like, dude, I put it up there this morning. And I'm like, oh, so I didn't. But yeah, it was like 120. It's not bad.
Yeah, for an OG, and it's a fucking obviously an amazing record. But anyway, so I have no stinkers. Every song is a banger for me on this one. Let's jump into One Arm Scissors since we've already played it. This is a single. They did have a music video for this one. It's just a compilation of live videos, like tour things, and it's not like a traditional kind of music video.
It's silly. God, man, like my rankings changed so much. And I really took time and I really thought about these because normally I do Bs, and by the time I get to like the latter half of the album, I'm like, fuck it, low B, mid B, whatever. I really did try and take time because One Arm Scissors is my 7B.
Ooh, that is low.
I know.
Holy shit! It's my 3B. It is my
One
3B.
Arm Scissors is my 7B.
It's too much of a classic, man. The highs and lows, the dynamics of this song is incredible, and fucking Tony's drumming, the way he gets this song to flow is so fucking awesome. It's just like the subtle drumming during the verses, and then fucking Paul is ripping it up on the bass during those verses. Omar and Jim kind of have that I don't want to say stop and go kind of thing with their guitars, but it's hard to explain.
There's a lot of cool shit in the song. I agree. I like the bass sound. I like that very low and burpy thing. And then when it gets into that like descending riff, that and then like the cool guitar parts, right? At the end of that descending bass riff, we get those really light high notes. It's almost like harmonics that he's throwing in there. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff. And I like how dirty and fuzzed out the staccato guitar, that's like super blown out. Dude, like fuzz to the max. It sounds obnoxious. Love it. Dude, the second verse is just absolute chaos. Both guitars hitting those single notes all over the place, but are still kind of like playing off each other. And this is Omar pushing Jim to be better, right? Because this is like the first time we've heard Jim not just straight up like do chords all the way through. Now Jim's like playing fucking guitar like Omar's playing guitar, learning things, adapting.
It's a weird like kind of it's a weird kind of harmony that they're doing. They're harmonizing off of each other in that second verse. It's really weird.
It's like Scene Kid harmony. It's just I don't know. Like nobody else does this shit.
Scene Kid harmony. That's good. That's really good.
I also like the quick drum rolls before the get away part in the chorus. He does this roll like really really quick roll. Like, get away. It's so goddamn good.
Oh god! And then that one hit that Tony does on just the snare and the floor tom, it's just that one big heavy deep low hit is just, it's such a simple transition into the next part. It's perfect. It's his drumming is like one of my favorite things about this record, because every song has a very unique drum part or drum section. You know what I mean? Like none of his drumming sounds the same.
My favorite things about this record, like personally, like the personnel, I should say.
Yeah, I think this week it's Tony, Cedric, Omar, Jim, and Paul. But I mean, I think it just depends on the day, or really when you break down the song, because there are some songs where Paul fucking shines too. I mean, his bass cuts through this mix so nice. It sounds so good. And this is one of those examples, like you said, you know, the deep guttural part in the verses. And then the what is it, ascending, descending, whatever line it is, whatever. Dude, it's fucking amazing. It's so simple too. It's so simple. It sounds like some shit we would come up with.
It is. I mean, it's just
it's really the same thing. Yeah,
scaling down, and it's elementary. It's day 3 of bass class, of guitar class, but I don't know, to input it somewhere and then have it like succeed is difficult. It's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned like Kirk Hammett a lot because every fucking solo that I've ever heard him do is always in like the minor pentatonic. That's all he ever fucking does. Yeah. But he's mastered it, and it sounds fine and it's good, and it's made him a lot of money, and 40 years have gone by and he's still doing it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
I think just because you've listened to so much fucking Omar, like me coming into this week, like my two favorites are Omar and Jim, and the way they play off each other. Like that was
They do.
I've never heard it this way until this week, and I really listened to a lot of Omar, and I listened to just like a lot of stuff that is in the family of At the Drive-In, and I just like,
Yeah.
God damn, man, these guys, this album in particular, like Omar pushed Jim to his limit, but then Jim also kind of like reeled in Omar to be a little bit more melodic and not as obnoxious.
Yeah, I never really noticed the interplay between Jim and Omar until Interalia came out, and then hearing Keely and Omar do it and just being kind of blown away at how great they mesh on that record. And I'm like, do Jim and Omar do this as well? So I remember going back to Relationship and then really hearing that back and forth, but it's not nearly as intricate, I feel, as Keely and Omar is. I think Keely's just like I think from a technical standpoint, I think Keely's a better guitar player.
Yes,
But
sure.
but the way that Jim plays it with more of like we've talked about, he plays the chords, he plays more of a rhythm guitar rather than more of a kind of a lead kind of thing that Keely does on Interalia. But their interplay on Relationship is crazy good, because most rhythm players don't play like this. They play very much more straightforward things, but there's a lot of nuance to Jim's playing on this record. In every song, every fucking song.
And like bringing it back to like AC/DC, right? Like you don't hear Malcolm solo a lot because Angus was just better. And you don't hear Angus hit a lot of those really, really cool, like semi-intricate rhythm parts because Malcolm was better. And so like you each kind of stay in their lane. But on this record, you do hear Jim hit these like kind of more intricate, weird parts that are opposite Omar, and Omar's pushing him to be better. But then you hear like the I don't know who came up with that, but I swear to you that was Jim.
It's
I guarantee you that was Jim.
Yeah, it sounds like a very Jim thing. And like you brought it up too earlier, a lot of that first Sparta record has a lot of those kind of that feel to it as well.
Yeah,
Especially Cut Your Ribbon.
God damn, dude! Like Omar. I know I'm late to the fucking ball game here, but like Omar impressed me this week. He was. I was all about it. I was all about it, baby.
That's good. Now you're finally going to become an Omarman. It's finally happened.
I put 0=2, whatever the fuck that album is, on my want list.
Yeah, the Frusciante record, the one that Omar did with Frusciante. Yeah.
So I'm still continuing on to next week and the week after. I'm still going to listen to a lot of Omar stuff. Just try and get through as much as I possibly can.
There's a lot of boring solo stuff though. There really, really is.
I do want to re-listen to Bosnian Rainbows because I hated that when it first came out.
It's not good.
Okay. And then also what's the other one?
Check out the album he did with his ex-girlfriend Zemena. It's called Taiko Zarente. It's on Spotify, but it's more of an electronic based thing, and they both sing on that record, but there's something about that record that I really, really love. It's not like I said, it's more electronic, but it's fucking good. Taiko Zarente, check it out. I highly recommend that record.
I'm still gonna dive into it. I think Omar in general kind of like stays in his lane that he knows more often than not, but it's a good lane. It's a fun ride. He knows how to perfect that sound, and like nobody fucking sounds like Omar. Honestly, nobody sounds like Omar.
He's always on the verge of falling apart in his music.
And even in like my favorite song, right? I mentioned No More Arthritis. Like, it sounds stupid. Like if you isolated just that guitar part for that little bridge, it's just dumb. It's just like, let me just hit a bunch of fucking frets here and see if it sounds good. Like, I don't know.
And then you and I both watched the Big Day Out performance that At the Drive-In did in 2000. Maybe it was 2000. No, it was 2000. And they only played 15 minutes because they stormed off the stage because people were slam dancing. And dude, that they played Arc Arsenal, then they played, what the fuck did they play? Did they play Pattern Against User?
They played Pattern, and then they played
One Arm Scissor. Then, right? Well, regardless,
they played Catacombs.
Okay, yeah. Well, my point was they started with Arc Arsenal, it's such a cool performance, but it is so out of fucking control.
No,
It's just it's a mess. It's an absolute. It doesn't sound very good, but the amount of energy they put into that one song to start out Big Day Out was insane. It was so fucking insane. Omar was so out of tune because he was so crazy with his guitar. Every note he hit
it was just
the wrong
flopping
fucking-
everywhere.
He was.
Like, dude, he was like dancing around, clapping his hands as the guitar's going from his back. And at some point, like it hits him in his butt, and he like grabs it because he's like, "Oh yeah, this hit me kind of hard." And like, dude, I guess we can talk about Big Day Out now because
Might as well, yeah.
Omar and Cedric were out of control. Fucking
Yeah.
out of control. At some point, Cedric shoves his mic under the back of Omar's t-shirt and sings through his t-shirt. And then he
gonna
gets
bring
mad at the fucking crowd for moshing. Like, dude,
I put that in my notes too. That he puts it under his shirt. It's one of the most insane,
anybody
funniest
do
thing
that.
ever.
like, what are you doing? And like Omar doesn't even like miss a beat. Doesn't even probably
Yeah.
didn't even fucking notice.
Yeah, because he's fucking guitars flying around.
And this is like peak Omar when he has his like legs together, and then the
Yeah.
next like millisecond they're like splitting.
They're
apart.
noodles. Yeah, they're fucking.
Yeah.
His legs are like noodles. It's fucking insane. I've never seen
Yeah.
anybody move like that. I mean, he did that kind of shit in Mars Volta, but not to that extreme.
Yeah.
Man, he was, and his guitar is like as tall as him. You know, it's as
Dude,
big
they
as
probably
him.
weigh like 105 pounds.
If that, dude. Yeah, he was. God, he's so small. But fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
those
was
two were.
bonkers.
But even Jim was getting kind of crazy too. Like I think he ended up breaking what I think at the end of Arc Arsenal he broke one of his guitar. He broke the guitar. I saw him take it off and I saw him like throw it, but I don't know if somebody caught it or I don't know what happened.
It looks like he tossed it.
Yeah. Okay, so you saw
but
it
like
too.
if you didn't know the song Arc Arsenal, be going into it, you would have no idea what they're fucking playing because they play it. I don't want to say they play it like shit, but because I can't think of a better word for it, they intentionally play it like shit. If you didn't know what it was, you're not going to know what it is halfway through the song.
No, because it was so out of tune. Everybody was so out of tune. The only person that was holding it together were Tony and Paul. Everybody
Yeah.
else was out of their fucking mind. I've never, outside of that performance, I've never seen Jim get that crazy ever. And he wasn't even getting that crazy, but it was
wasn't
just
that crazy.
man, it was such a cool performance. It was really cool. And then there was one point too where you can tell Omar really wanted to jam and like really do an extended thing, but nobody really could figure out what to do. Like you could tell they never really jammed before, but Omar really wanted to, and it was just this wall of distortion. It just sounded like fucking shit. It was
Yeah.
at the end of Arc. I think it was at the end of Arc. No, the end of
The
Catacombs. I think right, something
no,
like that.
The second song, I think it was in the second song when it was just
Okay,
kind of
yeah.
like it was bleeding out, and all you hear was just that one, almost like he rang out a chord and then just put like the delay on indefinitely and just
Yeah.
kept going and going and going and going and going. But I think that's like an early indicator of what Omar wanted to do musically was just, hey man, I know I'm not that great at the guitar, but I want to be better. I want to do other things. Let's just see where it goes. And like that's what jamming is, dude. I think that's what he wanted
true,
to do
dude.
for sure. And that's eventually what led to a lot of these good and bad parts of the Mars Volta.
True. And what was so cool is that, so I watched that 15-minute performance and then YouTube autoplayed and then it played Mars Volta playing at Big Day Out 2 years later. And I kind of wasn't paying attention and I'm like, dude, this is a really good song. Is this an At the Drive-In song? And then I looked and I see John Theodore and it was Mars Volta and they're breaking into Roulette Dares. And just the intensity from watching At the Drive-In to Roulette Dares, the intensity was still there, but it was just so much more complex. It was such a cool transition that I wasn't expecting, and to hear that flow, the transition was weirdly good from the end of that At the Drive-In set to Mars Volta. And then I ended up watching the whole hour-long set of Mars Volta because, dude, I highly recommend everybody go check out that Big Day Out performance that the Mars Volta did back then. It's incredible. It's fucking incredible. Truly they were at their prime during that era.
You know,
Fuck,
like
it was
even,
so good.
even Roulette Dares, that's a very At the Drive-In sounding song. That's a very
It
like
is.
post-hardcore sounding song. There's a lot of parts that ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding. That's a very like dumbed down kind of, not quite like Francis, and then later on Mars Volta sounding thing. That's a very like rock driven song.
It is. Oh, totally. Totally.
That's cool.
Damn, man. Good stuff. I'm sure we're gonna keep going back to Mars Volta because how can you not? They're so good too. But anyway, One Arm Scissor. What do you have lyrically on this one?
Supposedly about the intense touring at the drive-in did. I don't know though. Like One Arm Scissor, is that a knife? Because like all fucking scissors are one arm. You can use
That's
scissors
true.
with one arm.
Yeah.
Right?
You know,
I
honestly,
don't know.
let me just say this. I don't know what most of these lyrics are about. I think a lot of them are just nonsense. I think people look way too into these lyrics. I feel like Cedric, at this time especially, he just wrote lyrics because he needed something there. I think that most of it is nonsensical. And
I agree.
And
There's
if there
only
is
a couple songs on here that mean something.
yeah, and if there is a meaning to it, it only means something to Cedric. And I think fans take everything, they just make up their own stories. And I feel like that's most of this record. So I don't know what anything is really about on this. I kind of got the same thing as you. I thought it was just about, you know, drinking, partying, a lot of drug abuse on tour, and just being burnout on touring. That's what I thought this song was about. But what do I know? What do I know?
What do I know?
So what's your 1B? What's your number one banger? Biggest banger on here?
So here was the hardest thing for me, was going between my 1B and my 2B, and it went back and forth 3 times. But it wasn't until today when I was I had my little earbuds in my little wireless earbuds that I bought for my MacBook. And it wasn't until today that I was listening, and I kind of threw it in, and then when this song hit, I was like, this has to be the 1B. And that's, what do you think it is?
I think our top 2 are going to be the same. I think your number 1 is Enfilade.
Okay. And what do you think? What do you think my 2 would be then?
Arc Arsenal.
Okay. So my 1B
Your
1B is Invalid Letter Department.
No way.
Yeah, that is my 1B.
Holy shit. That's my 11B.
My number 2 is Enfilade. That's your
Wow.
11B?
That's my 11B. Yeah.
That's your least favorite song on the album?
Well, I mean, we're also adding in the 2 bonus tracks. So.
Oh, I don't rank bonus tracks as B's.
Oh, you didn't rank them?
No.
Oh my god. So
Because
I
they're
gotta take
bonus
them out.
tracks.
Well, I didn't realize they were bonus tracks until after I finalized my notes. I just never knew they were.
Dude, Extracurricular is so fucking good, man.
It
my
is.
God, that's such a banger of a song. But yeah, Invalid Letter Department is my 1B. It was Enfilade like all week until today. But it was like super close. But today, it beat it out. I'll tell you why.
Tell me why. Tell me why. Yeah.
This is the only song on the album that makes me feel a different way. Everything on this album makes me feel a certain way, right? Either like hyped, aggressive, fucking angry, boisterous, energetic. Invalid Letter Department is the only one that just makes me feel kind of like shit. And I like that. I like that this is the only... It's not the only ballad on the album. There's another ballad over here. But Invalid Letter Department is the only that makes me feel kind of like shit. Like I should look into what he's talking about. And I think the soundscapes match this better than any song on the album.
It's a very somber, very, very somber song.
Dude, it's somber. It's melancholy. These soundscapes build this world. The tone is so fucking good. Everything about the music is just so deliberate. It's like I said, it creates this world.
And it's a unique song in that there's so many different things going on at the same time, because you have 3 different vocal stylings from Cedric on this song. So even though it's a slower song and kind of the ballad, you have the spoken word parts during the verses. You have kind of the craziness of the chorus. It's not crazy in the context of the record, but if you were to take this song out, it's the crazy part of the song. It's the most at the drive-in part of the song. Yeah. And then you have the melodic, pretty part of Dancing on the Corpse's Ashes. So you have 3 very different things thrown into this 4.5 minute song. And it's, it is really effective. It really works. And it really, you need a song like this to be placed at this part of the record because it's just fucking chaos. This record is chaos. So you need these songs in here like Invalid Letter Department to break up that, so you're not just inundated with just insanity.
Madness.
Yeah, seriously. And I really do like Invalid Litter Department, but honestly, At the Drive-In just do the crazier songs way better. So that's why it's as low as it is. It's an absolute fucking banger, but it's just unfair to compare it to the other songs.
This song just hit, man, this song just hits fucking hard. And I just, it hits hard in a way that like Infilade hits a certain way. Arc Arsenal hits the same exact way as Infilade. Pattern, Sleepwalk Capsules, One Arm Scissors, all these fucking songs hit the same way. They're all bangers, but they hit the same way. I understand what I'm getting myself into. Invalid Letter Department hits in a way that it's like, oh wow, this is different. This is bizarre. It's like eating pizza every day for your entire life, and like when do you have a hot dog? It's still good. Like you still love pizza, but damn, it's fucking different.
That's quite the comparison.
I love, dude, this song fucking, honestly, this song blows me away. This song blows me away.
What I also really like is in the verses, that interplay between the bass and the guitars. It's just perfect. It sounds like it's one instrument, but when you really focus on it, Paul is doing something pretty simple, but the way Omar and Jim are playing off of that one bass line is fucking killer, man. It's so, I don't want to say complicated, because it's not complicated. It's a perfectly written part. Those verses and the music it's perfect songwriting. Perfect.
This is where I think Omar is coming into his own, because the noodling in the verses is seemingly kind of like, that's okay, that's just like metronome arthritis, like dumb noodling. But there's a lot of slides. There's a couple like hammer-ons that he does. There's a lot of things that he's doing in there where he's becoming a better guitarist. He's becoming more comfortable in like perfecting his unique sound that he wants to do. And this song, like Jim, is essentially almost non-existent because it's just Omar and then Cedric during those verses. And I think those verse parts are chaotic in their own way, because they bring it together during like the dancing on the corpse's ashes thing. Yeah. Like that's the only part that you kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot this is fucking sad as fuck. And so like that's I like all of that.
Yeah, I do too.
Dude, this song, I'm just like thinking about it right now, makes this song even like a beyond B for the album for me.
It's a great fucking song, man. It's a great one.
Oh,
So
I love the piano. I love the fucking verbed out guitar.
I could do without the piano though.
Oh my God.
I could really do without the
piano.
Love it.
There's a bunch of piano on this fucking album.
I know, but piano, I think, I just don't really care for that instrument.
Omar hated a lot of this fucking album.
Well, yeah, that's true. Which we'll get into soon. Don't worry.
This is being a whiner, but
they're always, all they do is whine. That's all they do. They still whine. All they do is that's all they do is
fucking whine.
Yeah. No, it's all they do is bitch about their music. They're almost as bad as AFI when they're talking about their own music. AFI. Yeah, they hate their own music. Ugh, it's so obnoxious, man. So obnoxious. All right, here's a little bit of Invalid Litter Department, and then we'll touch upon the lyrics and then move on. So here it is from the At the Drive-Ins. At the Drive-In, I almost said Mars
Damn, son. Are you 11B? Are you kidding?
It's my 11B, yeah. But I told you why.
Oh my God.
I told you why. Like,
dude, the noodling,
crazy
there's
stuff.
there's no fucking decay on the notes that he's hitting during that noodling part. So every note is just it's in the front at that moment, and then it's gone.
I get it.
Oh
man.
My God, it's so good.
I do really love this song, but I want the craziness when I hear At the Drive-In. I don't want slower stuff. I want crazy.
But you
That's
ranked a bunch of other bullshit high, and there was no craziness in those.
But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That's different. That's completely different. Those are standalone records. We're talking about Relationship of Command. We're not talking about.
You have not listened to this song.
Oh my God.
I think maybe you skipped the song. But it was probably the podcast or the iPod era, the podcast pod iPod. There we go. Transition.
There we go. Yeah.
0 for 2. It was probably the iPod era, and you skipped over the song too often, and I think you should listen to it again.
No. I mean, I have skipped this every once in a while, but it's still a fucking great song. I really do love it. Anyway, Let's get into the lyrics real quick. So I think the lyrics match, at least what people say the song is about. The lyrics match the music well. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so supposedly this song is about a lot of the murders that were happening in the border cities, more specifically in Juarez, in Mexico. Just a lot of the fucked up shit going on with the cartels and all that. And I feel like a lot of the imagery that Cedric was throwing out lyrically were like Nazi concentration camps, like dancing on the corpse's ashes. It made me think of the gas chamber, not the gas chambers, but like you know what I mean. Just it reminded me of that very much, and
just very, very dark.
Yeah, extremely dark, and it just painted that kind of picture. And God, dude, it's a depressing song. It really is.
Dude, there's two lines just in the first verse that I just absolutely fucking love, and they hit me hard this week. One, the way he says them is kind of goofy, but he says, as their shoes grip the dirt floor, and then he says, in the silhouette of dying. It's like, dude, that's so dumb. That's so childish. Like, you can't think of anything else. But God, fuck me in the butt if that doesn't work. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And the other one's like a rehired scab at a barehanded plant. I like that line a lot too.
Man, he uses
so fucking good.
He uses so many words. Like I think we were talking about it with Skip on the Deloused episode, and how it's a word salad. Just a lot of it just doesn't make sense. He just strings all these fancy words together. Fancy words sound stupid, but just fancy a lot words. I don't know.
He does. I mean, really, there's a concept that he has. I think there's only a handful of these songs on this album where he has a concept, and the overall, like the choruses and the verses loosely follow that concept. But like picking it apart word for word, line by line, it is just word salad.
Yeah.
It's cool sounding.
It does sound really fucking cool.
But this song is definitely, and if you don't know anything about it, but like just the amount of women murdered in Juarez, which Juarez like borders Texas. It's like the extremely northern part of Mexico going into America. Just fucking horrible gang wars. And you can see like the murder rates of Juarez like going into like even 2010. Like
even to this day. I mean,
thousands.
Yeah. Does Juarez butt up against El Paso? Is that why they talk about Juarez? Or I'm looking right. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, Juarez is. Yeah, so they're the borders. They're
right there.
They share the border. Yeah.
But there's a lot of like cities where there's like it's bad and there's like hundreds of murders. Like honestly, Juarez had thousands of murders per year.
On top of that, even now, I mean, the amount of human trafficking that happens through El Paso it's astonishing. It really, really is astonishing. Like how this stuff even still happens. It's so fucking sad. It's so goddamn sad.
And it's like, fuck, man. It's not a political podcast. Gotta know what the fuck to do, but I know what we're doing doesn't work. So,
yeah. I'd like to go to El Paso sometime though.
Okay.
I don't know, just because I like at the drive-in in Mars Volta so much. Why not go to El Paso?
I can pretty much almost guarantee that you go there and there's like no monument, no memorial,
no, of course
no
there's
mention.
Not. Of course there's not. But that's not what I want to see. Like what I don't want to say I want to see what they saw, but I just want to kind of. I don't know. I want
a dump town. Just go to Mexico. Like Mexico.
Or just go to parts
cities
of
that border America.
Just go to fucking parts of Riverside County. You kind of get the same thing, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Never been to El Paso, but anyway, I don't know. Yeah, it's fucked up. It's all fucked up.
What that part where like Cedric is like dancing on the corpse's ashes. Da 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 da.
That was good.
That's how he sounds. He's all nasally in that one part. He's trying to be quiet because everyone's sleeping.
Oh, when does that ever stop you?
No, that's what Cedric sounds like. He sounds like
okay.
He sounds like he's trying to be quiet because everybody's sleeping. Like dancing on the corpse's ashes, and then drops in. Da 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 da.
Oh, it's so good. That ending is fantastic.
Whatever. What's your one be? Enfilade?
Arc Arsenal. Come on, man. What an opener. You can't fuck with that opener. That build
My
up.
3B. It's good.
That's your 3B? Okay. That build up with the shakers, and then oh god, dude, fucking the bass comes in a little bit turned down in the mix, but then Omar comes in with that really high guitar part.
What is that? What are
And
you
still
doing?
every time I hear this song, I think of the Big Day Out Festival and think of his legs. His noodle legs. Every time.
The noodle legs.
His noodle legs are just, it's permanently imprinted in my mind every
How do you
time
not
I hear that
fall?
intro.
How did you never tripped once?
I know. It's weird. It's fucking weird. And yeah, I don't know. But anyway, Arc Arsenal. And then you get that one snare hit, the one fucking snare hit from Tony. And then Paul comes in with that fucking thick ass bass, and then everything drops in. It's fucking pure chaos. Oh. And just, I love the simplicity of Tony's drums too on this. It's such a simple and cool beat at the same time. I love this is my favorite drum performance of his on the record. This is by far my favorite. I love the simplicity of it and how just heavy it can be, and oh my god, dude, the song is incredible. Absolutely fucking incredible.
It's definitely the most untraditional. Like there's nothing about this that's rock based, that's normal, that you can kind of like grab onto. Even if you don't play the drums, right? You can like air drum a lot of things. Like this one is the one that you have no fucking idea what's going on. No idea.
Ba-da-ba-ba, where he hits the snare and then the three hits on the cymbal, and he just does the snare and the hi-hat. That ka ka da 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 ka ka. Wow, dude, it's so fucking good. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love the song,
weird,
right?
Even like the pacing, like that, even that alone, it's this weird like 6 hit, right? Like that's fucking weird, bizarre.
It is. And then the first line, must have read 1,000 faces. I must have robbed them of their cause. The way he sings those lines, it's just it sounds like he's in a rush, like he's rushing to get it out, like he's about to be like killed or something. Like it's the amount of panic in that first verse is fucking crazy cool. And when he screams "Beware," oh, dude, his scream is so killer.
He never stops yelling.
No,
the entire fucking song just never stops yelling. Like that's how the song ends, with him just yelling. It begins and ends with him yelling.
Yeah,
it does. Why are you always yelling?
Also, the lyrics in the bridge: "Have you ever," or the "Have you ever tasted skin?"
Have you ever tasted skin? This dude's so sick. I love the swirly guitar over like everyone else at that part.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that part's so good.
It's fucking good, man. Oh God, how can this not be your number one? This is one of the greatest openers of a record of all time.
I agree.
That build-up, man. And the build-up isn't too long. It's not too long. It's the perfect amount of time for a build-up.
I'm telling you, it's because Invalid Letter Department made me feel something different than this song did. The song made me feel exactly what I knew was going to make me feel.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I know what I'm getting myself into. And my 3B, it's a fucking banger.
It's not your 2B. It's not even your 2B. So you actually hate this song. Well, that's what it is. You hate it, right?
Yeah. I hate the song more than 2 other songs. Yes.
You're annoying.
Correct.
Anyway, here's a little bit of Arc Arsenal. We'll jump into some more of the music and lyrics. So here it is from At the Drive-In. Man, back to his Beware screams. It sounds like desperation. Like it's not a normal scream. It's just filled with just anxiety and desperation. I love it. I love how pure it sounds. Fucking
I didn't know he was saying beware until this week either. I always thought he was yelling.
Just yelling. Also, what's really cool too is going into that second verse after he screams beware, you know, Tony hits the snare and floor tom, just that one hit, and then Cedric comes in just by himself and says, I must have read 1,000 faces, and then everybody comes back in. Fucking so good, man. So good. Oh man, what a fucking incredible song.
What a fucking opener, dude. Like you just
I know.
Yeah. the opener of an album is dictating what everybody is going to think of your album, and putting it on Spotify now, right? Like your opener better be so captivating that people are willing to spend the next hour and a half listening to the rest of it.
Yeah,
this is the perfect opener.
You're absolutely right.
Maybe like one of the most perfecter openers of all time.
The most perfecter opener.
The most perfecter openers of all time. It really is. It does its fucking job. It does it better than anybody could have possibly anticipated.
Yep. And another thing I wanted to get into musically is that it sounds like Omar's just playing his own song. Like he's just doing his own thing that seems completely separate from the rest of the band, but it still works. I have no idea what he's doing and why he's doing it, because it just makes no fucking sense at all. But I love it.
That's Omar, dude.
That's the beauty of it, dude. Well, it's true. It's fucking true, man. So what do you have lyrically on this one?
I read a couple of things online. One, people thought this was like Jeffrey Dahmer and his cannibalistic ways. Other people said it was a general warning to giving people too much power. I think it is about nothing. I think the beware thing is just a cool thing to say.
Yeah, I read the Jeffrey Dahmer thing too, and kind of about the inner workings of the serial killer's mind, and I guess you can interpret it that way, but I agree with you. I think it's just a lot of nonsense. I think it's just a way to get fucking crazy and get your band and the audience really, really pumped up for a song. Yeah. That's what it is. I don't think there's much to it. God, I wish Cedric would come out and say what all these songs are about, because that's like
I like the ambiguity though.
I would too, but
I like everybody. I like everybody like dissecting these, and he's just sitting back and like, yeah, dude, I was fucked up on heroin. I had no idea what the fucking shit was about.
That's another thing too. Him and Omar were so strung out on heroin that, that's crazy.
Omar was
too.
Fucked up. So like I didn't. So this week I didn't know this, but from what I read, Omar was already fucking strung out on drugs before he joined At the Drive-In. Right, he had left El Paso and then came back and then asked Cedric, essentially kind of for a job. Like, dude, I'm like lost. I sold my guitar. I have no fucking money. I'm addicted to drugs. Like, can we be friends or whatever? And Cedric's like, yeah, dude, join my band At the Drive-In. I think that's how it started.
Yeah, and prior to the band too, he pretty much hitchhiked all over the U.S. for a while because he just was he was so lost in life that he abandoned everything, sold everything,
but and we're then not just talking about like a 30-year-old here going on
like an 18-year-old kid,
like an 18-year-old child.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy. Then he joins this band, and then just look at him now. He's a fucking rock star.
And then, like, also, there's a heavy heroin thing in this band also. And then a lot of drug use.
Yeah. A lot of drug use. And, it bled into the other bands,
Deaths, right? People died.
Yeah. The Mars Volta. Jeremy died in the Mars Volta from heroin. Jeremy is actually Jim's, cousin?
Cousin. Okay.
Yeah, cousin. Yeah. So, fuck, man. It's crazy. They had so many friends die of drugs and suicides, and it's crazy, man.
Which like makes sense if you were like a Motley Crue, right? If you were like a Kiss, but because like a lot of money's rolling in, you're partying, you're playing these sold out venues that are seating 10,000 people, but for this to happen to like a bunch of kids from El Paso is just, this is heartbreaking. Whereas like Motley Crue, it's standard.
The big difference is you mentioned, because with the hair metal era and Motley Crue and stuff, they had the money to do it. They did it strictly out of excess. The reason that people were so fucked up in El Paso was because they lived in El Paso, because it was a shit place to live. It's especially back then. Yeah, it was just a terrible. Exactly, it was a terrible place, and that's what everybody did to escape the reality of living there. So the circumstances were entirely different. It's fucked. It is really sad. It is really, really sad.
Tragic.
But, yeah. Yeah, but Omar and Cedric, they got through it. They were strung out for a couple years at the beginning of the Mars Volta, but they overcame it. And Cedric joined the Church of Scientology. Went a little crazy, but now he's out, and now we're here. Anyway, Arc
Arsenal. That
Arsenal.
old, dude. Like what, mid to late 40s?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's
Probably.
not that old.
No.
Like they've gone through as much shit as they've gone through
I know.
to be recognized. I mean, like, Relationship of Command is recognized as one of the greatest albums of all time. Not just
They were
the
in their
genre of
early
the era.
20s. They were in their early 20s when
fucking
that came out,
stupid.
right?
It's like
Fucking
Zeppelin
hell.
coming out with like Zeppelin 2 or fucking House of the Holy or 4 or Van
All in their
Halen's
20s.
1. Yeah.
All these guys were in their 20s, that you just mentioned. Fucking Neil Young. Look
Crazy.
at Neil Young. What did he fucking after the Gold
He's
Rush, he was
still
like
coming out with perfect
23,
albums.
24 years old when After the Gold Rush came out. What
Neil
are you
Young's a
doing?
douchebag. Fuck that. It's annoying to still come out with albums that are like perfect. That's fucking obnoxious. Like, just be done, dude. Go to bed.
Oh man, Neil Young.
Show off.
What a guy.
Fucking show. He's a show off.
What a guy. Anyway,
Fucking show off.
0-2. Are you good with Arc Arsenal?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your 2B?
Enfilade.
Oh my God. Is it Enfilade or is it Enfilade? What I don't even
I don't know.
I don't know, Jerry.
It's based off of like a French word, supposedly, right? That's what the thing
Yeah.
online said.
Yeah, it's like it's something to do with
So how would a French person say, like, enfilade, enfilade?
Wait, no.
Maybe like enfilade, enfilade,
Enfilade. Wait.
enfilade.
That's hard. It's hard to do a French accent seriously.
Yeah, because they're stupid. Everybody's stupid except for American. Everybody's stupid except for Southern California American accents. That's it. That's
That is a
fact.
great point. That is a great point.
All other accents and dialects and languages are stupid. Fact. Snopes it. Enfilade is
man.
my 2B.
Enfilade. Enchilada.
You just like, okay, so right off the bat, that fucking wah, outrageous. Outrageous is the only word I can even describe it. Outrageous. Like, what are you doing? What
it's
are you
so
doing?
obnoxious sounding.
Why?
It's so obnoxious.
Like, imagine being in the studio, right? Like, no, turn it up louder. Like, are you sure? Yeah, louder. Okay, that's good. No, louder. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? And then, like, okay, so like this made me research whether or not Omar liked the record, but Omar didn't like the final product of the record because it wasn't as raw as he had hoped it was going to be. It was very polished, which I get it. Like, Andy Wallace mixed it. Andy Wallace is good at mixing big production records that make millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that Omar wasn't happy with the final product, but this has got to be like the perfect example of the middle ground, something that is in the middle of being raw and kind of obnoxious to being overproduced, never mind sounding. Like, this is the middle ground. This is it.
It is.
This is perfect.
If At the Drive-In had made another record, I feel like most of the record would sound like this song, because they were dabbling in different percussive instruments, with the melodica that they play, which fucking sounds so good in this song during that bridge. The electronic drums, everything about this song is everything that they had never done before. So it was the perfect transition into what could have been the next At the Drive-In, but then obviously, De Facto and then Mars Volta happened. But goddamn, dude, this song is so unique. It's so different. And and it's so simple. It's not even a complicated song. It's perfect in its simplicity. And I love it so much for that. Also, Iggy Pop was featured on the song. He did the intro, the Hello Mother Leopard, which is, it's kind of stupid.
But you know every fucking
I
word
know
to
every
that
word
shit.
to it.
But you love saying cola nuts, right?
Yeah,
You
cola
love saying
nuts.
cola
What the
nuts.
fuck is
That's
a
my
cola
favorite
nut?
part.
What is a cola
I don't
nut with
know.
a K? A cola with a K.
Cola nuts. But the
Cola
way you said
nuts.
cola nuts.
10,000 cola nuts wrapped in brown paper. Wait, behind the box.
Midnight,
Midnight behind the box. You'll see.
I'll be the hyena. You'll see.
You'll see. And then just that wah comes in, the drum. God, that electronic drum beat.
And then this song drops into like one of the hardest and best grooves they have ever done is At the Drive-In. Oh my god, dude. What are you doing?
And then the guitars drop in, and then it drops back into that verse where it goes back to just pretty much the electronic beat, the bass playing, the bass line, and then Cedric singing through that filter, and then it drops into that pre-chorus, that instrumental pre-chorus, where it's just the percussive instrument, the melodica. Don't forget the melodica.
And everyone's just like, "What is that?" That has to be Omar at that point, being as obnoxious as fucking possible.
Yes. Oh my god, and that chorus is so catchy. My god, it's so much fun.
Dude,
to
you
sing.
put claps in any chorus, it's going to be great. Whatever.
The hand claps.
That's what I love.
The hand claps are really the cherry on top in that chorus for sure. God, it's like I said, it's so perfect in its simplicity. I love the song. I love the song so much.
I like the drum beat too. The drum beat, right? Like having that single snare hit, then the double, that it's one, and then after that one.
Oh yeah.
It makes it kind of like this broken beat and gives like this feeling of uneasiness, which matches the tone of the song overall, like the whole kidnapping thing and everything. Which I think this song is probably the most, besides Invalid Letter Department, is the most like forward thinking
most real
song.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can follow the story to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's about a kidnapping victim. It's about human trafficking. Really, that's what this is.
Yeah,
it's about human trafficking and a ransom. It tells that story, and it's fucked up. God damn, dude. When you really kind of look up how bad human trafficking is, still, it's so scary, and it's so fucking sad.
Well, that's the key word. Is still, like it's still happening today, and Phoenix is like a major hub of like these fucking coyotes bringing people over, and then like pimping and whoring them out. I don't know what pimp or the whore aspect would be, but like selling them out to other people, and it's gross.
It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about that. That's the craziest thing, how quiet the media and government and how little people know about what's actually happening. That's the part that's very unnerving.
I remember because I like talking about like the cartel shit, because like every so often I'll go into this like cartel tailspin, and I'll think like damn man, that cartel has so much more power than even the cartel knows. Like if all the cartels just wanted to, they could take over the fucking world. They really could. And I remember reading this story, and it wasn't even like small news. It was like big news. But somewhere on the East Coast, I want to see North Carolina, but it's probably not North Carolina. These like group of vigilante guys followed these drug dealers who had ties to the cartel into a house, and they knew they were like dealing drugs or whatever, and they tried to stop it, and like a gunfight ensued, and like everybody fucking died. And this is in America. And the cartel, because there's a major hub in like the East Coast, I think it's North Carolina. There's a major like a cocaine hub or something in that area that distributes all up and down the East Coast. And I remember it was a big thing because the cartel had like declared war on like the East Coast.
Holy shit.
And like residents of the East Coast. And I don't know, man, that shit's fucking. Like, to think we live in a country where, like, oh, the police will protect us, and, like, oh, our justice system is fair, and, like, oh, come on, bro.
I know, right?
Like, we're over here fucking nickel and diming people to death on taxes, whereas there are people, like, literally getting whored out for their entire lifespan.
Yep. Until they get a little too old, and then they're thrown into the streets or killed or whatever.
Well, they're purposely, like, purposely addicted to drugs and then thrown out into the streets, and then their life is over. And there's another song on this album too that talks about kind of like what they saw. The Quarantine is the other one. Is that what they saw living so close to the border, seeing people, mostly women, come over and become like maids or housekeepers. And the song Quarantine itself, like the name, is they are trapped. They're stuck here. They're treated like shit. They're paid like shit. You're paid just enough to like live, but not enough to save money to where you can go out on your own. Yeah. And
it's so fucked.
This is not a foreign concept. This is not something from like the 70s where our fathers talked about. This is happening like now, today.
Yeah. It's weird because like I'm bringing it back to TikTok because whatever. So a video popped up on my feed, and it was talking about the border, the Texas-Mexico border, and they were talking about some sheriff they're driving down the road on where the border is, the wall or whatever, the existing wall prior to Trump. There was a wall there prior. And they're driving down along the wall, and they're like, oh, there's people in the distance. There's like a group of like 10 people, and they pull up to them, and they're like these people from India, like the middle of fucking nowhere in Texas, Mexico. And they're like, what are you doing here? And they said, oh, we just got dropped off. And the sheriff said, well, he said to the cameras, like, if you walk anywhere in any direction, it's about 2 to 4 days walk from here to any sort of civilization. So if you don't have enough food or water, you're going to die. Like, there's just no way you're going to.
And they do.
They do, yeah. And he said that's the most devastating part, is because these people that are coming over don't know that everything is so far away and how big everything is. And he said what the cartels do in this instance, what they do is they get a group of people, they essentially abandon them like that, like those people, and then they use them as a distraction to actually run things over the border. Because what they have these people do, they have them call 911 over and over and over again until a bunch of people, like Border Patrol, comes to that one location to rescue this small group of people. And while all the resources are being taken away to help these people, not a lot of people are covering the border. So then at that point, the cartels can move over contraband, humans, just, smuggle things over in much larger quantities, because the resources, the American resources, are being held, or being distracted elsewhere. And I mean, it's something as simple as that is still so effective. It's remarkable.
It's fucking embarrassing, to be honest.
It really is.
It's fucking embarrassing, and there's so much. Well, here we go, dude. There's so much money, like, in politics, and the fact that so many politicians they're so fucking wealthy beyond any kind of reasonable doubt, and how much money these old school money families have, like the Rockefellers, right? Like how much fucking money is involved in these families, yet like people are literally dying, walking to what they think is a better life. Whether or not it may or may not be true, I don't know, but they're honestly willing to die because of something they believe is going to be a better life.
Well, a lot of them are tricked too. I mean, we see it a lot too with the legalization of marijuana here in California. I mean, I'm all for legalization of it, but since it's become legal here, what's happened is a lot of the cartels have come up to Central California, where a lot of weed is grown, and they're essentially not even buying the land. They're just finding rural, like out of the, in the middle of nowhere areas to grow all this weed. And they have armed guards everywhere. These cartels do. And what they're doing is that they're picking up people from Central America, Mexico, wherever, and saying, work for us, essentially slave labor for a year, and then we'll let you go. So they're smuggling these people up to work the fields. And then after, the year or whatever is up, they still keep them, because it's like, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to go, try to start a life somewhere else with no family, no connections, or are you just going to stay here with us? So it's like this never-ending shit cycle. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, well, you're preying on the weak. You're preying on the weak, and that's the name of the game. That's what our fucking government does constantly, and it's no surprise that our government has funded cartels in the past, or the CIA gave cartels fucking weapons in hopes they could track them. But that went to shit, and now they can't track any of them. And now
the Fast and the Furious
cartel billions of dollars in weapons for free because we made a fucking massive mistake. But yeah, it's silly boy talk. It's silly boy talk. It's classic divide and conquer, where here we are fighting over fucking Trump or Biden, whereas like the real enemies are making money.
Yeah, there's so many other things that are way more important than what dumbasses in office. God, it's fucking crazy.
And I do think this kind of like coincides with what like Cedric was so upset about during Big Day Out, because I watched an interview that he did in 2017 with Rolling Stone, and he was kind of talking about like his frustrations. He said it wasn't specific to Big Day Out. It was just like a culmination of a lot of things, and a lot of like the bro culture. And the bro culture during the nu metal era of like the late 90s, early 2000s was bad. Like that was just a shit time. But like Cedric was young, and he acknowledged that, yeah, I was young, naive. I thought I could control a crowd that was too big. Mudvayne, I just performed, I guess, on a side stage. Limp Bizkit, that was the same day, the same concert that fucking girl died.
Yeah, that
Right?
night was when Limp Bizkit played, and yeah, the girl got crushed. That 16-year-old girl got crushed.
So that's just, I mean, like, dude, nobody should be fucking dying at a concert. That's just silly boy talk. Come on. Like,
Yeah,
hundreds and
so
hundreds
sad.
of people didn't do their jobs for someone to die. Like, nobody should die unless it's an OD, because, what are you gonna do? But like, nobody should be crushed to death at a fucking rock concert. That's
I
silly
agree.
boy talk.
And
Silly boy talk.
I saw another interview that was related to that incident, and it was Cedric and Tony were talking about it. It was like 2016, 2017 when they did this interview. It might have been the same one. I don't know. But Tony was talking about how, the thing happened with Limp Bizkit, and they're like, we weren't fans of the band. We aren't fans of the band, but we just felt for them because they had no idea. They had no control of what was happening in the crowd, and just like, it was just devastating for everybody. And he said that he has so much respect for that band after that incident, because at that point, Fred and the band, they decided that they would never play another festival unless the crowd was separated down the middle, which at the time Japan was at Summer Sonic was the only festival that was doing that. But at that point, Limp Bizkit and the guys said, no more. We will never play another festival without that.
And you have to.
Yeah.
You have
Just
to
irresponsible. It's just irresponsible
Yeah.
not to. Damn.
Like the Travis Scott fucking thing that just happened
Yeah.
fairly recently, the year ago. Like, that's just another, like, dude, nobody should be dying going, like, that's,
I agree.
come on, dude. Like,
That was-
really?
That was a crazy thing that happened at the Travis Scott thing.
Like, two people died at Woodstock, maybe
Mhm.
three. And that was like over half, there was almost 1 million people there. It was like 600,000 people there.
Yeah. Wait, which Woodstock? The 69 or the 99?
First one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know anybody died in that one.
I think one person died because they OD'd, and like one person died from maybe
Okay.
dehydration. Like nobody died because of something the crowd did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of reports of like all these other things, but everything that I've read about the first Woodstock it really was just kind of like this, I don't know. I don't want to say utopia because that's unattainable, but
Definitely
the
wasn't.
closest you could get to it being a festival of that size.
Man, we definitely went down a road there. So
It's
Anyway.
so fucking frustrating. It's so frustrating.
it is. It really is.
So frustrating.
Bring politics into it.
Just the last thing. Well, hold on there, dude.
Well, I don't know about that,
The
dude.
last thing is it's so fucking frustrating. People complain so much about whatever the fuck is they're complaining about, but take no initiative or drive to try and change it. Even in the smallest capacity, like voting. Regardless if you think voting means anything or not, just even
Mhm.
taking that step to do it is something more than just doing nothing. Or even just going to a city council meeting. Like, I bet you most people don't even know the fuck their city council chambers are in the city they live in.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. Instead, they would rather talk about
Bitch
it
on the
online
neighborhood app, on the fucking Ring app.
or on
Oh,
Instagram
these fucking
or
kids
wherever.
are fucking ding dong ditching me again. Like, bitch, shut the fuck up. God.
Oh man, that's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, 0-2. Let's play a little bit of Enfilade from.
I'll go to the bathroom while you do this. So,
All right,
extend it.
let's do this at the drive-in Enfilade. Certified banger by Asinine Radio.
Certified fucking banger.
My God, it's an incredible song. Love it.
And this
so
is
much.
like, right? This is the first time we've heard At the Drive-In be like overly aggressive in adding like Latin flair to their music,
I would agree with you on that. Yeah.
right? And then like this is something that we'll obviously see them delve more into in Mars Volta, but
yeah, totally.
this is like the first. I think this is maybe the only time they've really done that sound.
This and Arc Arsenal, I think, are the only songs on this record. But prior to this, yeah, I agree. Is there anything on Via though? I feel like there is something on Via.
So.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Even the dub stuff too. I mean, they didn't touch upon any sort of dub inklings until this song with the melodica, which I love
Yeah.
that instrument. That stupid basic instrument. I love it though. It sounds
I'm
so
gonna buy
cool.
one. I'm gonna buy one tonight.
Just you can get them for like $20 on Amazon. They're so cheap. They're so sick though.
So stupid.
I
I want to
love
buy a
them.
melodica and a Jews harp.
I forgot about
Because
that.
Jews harp you can put in your pocket and bow, bow, blah, 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 blah. Stick that shit in your mouth. Bow, 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 bow.
They're so dumb.
It's so dumb.
All right, so this is your number 2, right?
Yeah, that's my 2B.
All right. And my
Fucking on
3
2B. That's good.
my 3B was One Arm Scissor. So
Okay.
your 3 was Arc Arsenal.
I do have one more thing about Enfilade, though.
Okay, yeah, what do you got?
The picture of Iggy Pop in the studio with the guy from At the Drive-In. Did you see that picture?
Well, it's only Omar and Cedric, and then there's like I don't know who that other guy. I think he's an engineer, and then it's Ross, right?
Yeah.
Because Ross is like kneeling down. I'm trying to remember the picture in my mind.
Thinking
'Cause that's a great place to
Is that what
remember.
you're thinking?
That's a
It's
great place to remember and think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good place to think.
I don't even.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
I-
but yeah, continue.
But dude, they look so weird. Like compared to like Iggy Pop or Iggy Pop. I mean, I'm not like a big Iggy Pop fan. Don't really know a lot of his music. But like it's Iggy Pop. Like you know who the fuck he is.
He's an icon.
Compare
He's a
and next
fucking icon.
to Omar and Cedric, it was just kind of funny to see how awkward they looked next to him.
I mean, mind you, Omar is extremely awkward, and when you and I met him like 12 years ago, whenever that was, he was
Lost the
extremely.
picture.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what happened to that picture, and I'm
That
so
should be your
bummed I
most
lost it.
cherished possession of all
I know.
time.
I don't know what I have
Can't
scoured.
believe you lost it.
I have scoured every hard drive, every USB stick I have, and I
And it makes no
cannot find
sense.
that. I don't know.
You have pictures from before you were born.
It's true. I do.
You save everything.
Picture wise, I do, and I think the only time I ever posted it was on MySpace. That shows you how long ago it was, and MySpace is such a trash fire that they lost everything. MySpace, their server completely took a shit, and almost every user's data was erased. And I think that might have been the only place that I had uploaded it was MySpace. So that sucks. But we have the
That does
memory
suck.
of
That is true.
of him being very, very awkward and very uncomfortable.
Yes.
And I will cherish that moment.
And that was the first time I realized that he is a lot smaller than I thought he was on video.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are 6 foot, 6'1", and you're 6 foot, right?
I'm like 5'11", bro.
Are you?
Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate it, but
But regardless, he's like 5'4", and we were like giants standing over him.
and he's like so skinny. Like we've always
Yeah.
been fairly thin. And
Especially
he
back
was even-
then, we were very, very thin.
Yeah, and he was even like, God damn, you're small, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like how is all this aggression and all this like stuff coming out of you? What?
I know, right?
Like the small things come in big. No,
Wait,
big things come in small packages.
There you go. There you go.
Oh,
You almost had it
hold on
right.
there, dude.
Oh, how about that? Anyway.
Yeah, 1, 2,
Oh, and
3B
two.
for me.
Okay. All right. Let's. So actually, let's talk about Ross Robinson, the recording, where it was recorded. It's all, to me. It's iconic, and it's honestly the reason why we're doing this album this week, because we just ended new metal season, and Ross Robinson was a big reason why new metal was as enormous as it was, because he did Korn, Limp Bizkit, fucking Slipknot, you know, the heavy hitters of the genre. And
so many people.
and at this point in his career, he hated the new metal thing because he was the new metal poster child. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to get away from it. So he heard At the Drive-In. He loved it so much, he was impressed, that he actually reached out to the band and said, I would love to do your record. They declined and said, no, we don't really like what you did in the new metal scene. He begged them. He said, I will do one of your songs for free just to show you that what I can do for you. And he ended up producing. It never says what song he ended up recording with them, but he recorded it. They loved it, and they ended up working with him obviously for this record. They recorded at the iconic Indigo Ranch in Malibu,
Indigo
California,
Ranch.
and which is now burned down. Unfortunately, it burned down, I think, in 2010 or 2011. There were massive wildfires at the time, and the whole studio, the whole building just is burned to the ground, and it was never rebuilt. But so many iconic records were written and recorded there. It's in the middle of nowhere, Malibu. It's up in like the cliffs, like the mountainous part of Malibu, and it's really treacherous to get up there. It's like a 1-lane road to get up there, and essentially when you record there, you live there. There's like rooms, and like there's a separate guest house that you live in while you write and record music up there, and that was Ross's thing. That's where he did all of his work. But
like if you've ever been to Malibu, it's Malibu.
It's pretty much
Malibu
PCH.
looks what it sounds like.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It is really beautiful, and it's pretty much just PCH.
Perfect.
It's pretty much just PCH.
Yeah, but it like hangs over that. There's like a little lip in California, that little Southern California part where it goes up. Like I don't know what the geographical term for it, but like California goes up and then it shoots out to the left a little bit and then goes up again. And Malibu is that part that faces like southward on that Southern California lip. So it is just fucking beautiful.
It is really beautiful. Yeah. And if people listening who don't know the geographic area, or they don't know what Southern California looks like, PCH is Pacific Coast Highway, which is essentially technically it's a freeway, but it's really just like a couple lanes that starts from Mexico and goes all the way up to Washington, to the border of Canada. And it literally just hugs the coast all the way up, all the way fucking up. You could even take PCH. No, actually you can't take PCH. You could take the 5 freeway all the way up through Canada into Alaska. But PCH goes from San Diego, from the border of Mexico, all the way up to Washington, up to the border of Canada, which is fucking crazy. I've always wanted to make that drive. I heard it's fucking insane and it takes forever.
Yeah, it takes fucking forever.
But damn, dude, it'd be so cool to take PCH from San Diego all the way up to Washington. That'd be fucking sick. But Malibu, yeah, it's a very, very small town, very exclusive, but it is fucking beautiful. It really, really is beautiful.
Yeah, it's perfect fucking living.
Yeah. And it's very, very expensive.
But yeah, Ross Robinson did this album, and then several years later, he did Iowa. So he complained about...
he did Iowa a year before this. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He did Iowa the year after this, in 2001.
Yeah, so he complained about the new metal scene, and then did one of the best of all time. So,
well,
that's fine.
Okay. Well, yeah. And then he did...
It's one of the best. Don't get crazy with me, okay?
And then he did Glass Job, Blood Brothers. Then he did that crazy Cure record.
Yeah, but nobody gets I love Blood Brothers. Burn Piano Island. Ooh,
That's what he did. That's what he did.
So good.
And I actually went back a couple of years ago. I listened to that Cure record he did from 2004. It's a pretty cool record. I was really, really surprised by it. But he kind of regrets making that record too. Ross has like things to say about it that he wish he hadn't done, but whatever. It made for a good album. And the way we've talked about Ross a lot on this podcast, but he's such an unconventional, producer. He really fucks with people in the studio, especially in the 90s and early 2000s. He would go out of his way to fuck with you, to get you, to piss you off, just to straight up piss you off, to get a better performance out of you. I've heard a story where like Omar and Cedric were so timid and so scared. Well, not scared, but they were just like, they didn't know what to expect. So they were Ross had invited him over to his house, and they were just like uncomfortable. And he's like, you know what? Just spit on the wall. Like, fuck it. I don't care. Like, he wanted them to like open up and just feel like, I'm not like some big rich, well, he was rich, but I'm not like some, big wig executive or whatever. It's like, if you want to fuck something up. So he told him to like kind of fuck up his house a little bit. And then, I don't know, there's so many crazy Ross Robinson stories, and I fucking love the guy. The guy is the greatest producer of all time. I don't care. I think
it was like the Korn thing or maybe something else, but like he had put somebody in his car and drove like way too fast through the hills of Malibu.
It was Paul.
For this record?
It was for At the Drive-In. Yeah, because I don't know, for whatever reason, but yeah, he took Paul out on out driving through the Malibu through the mountainous area just to like get him going, to get him like freaked out and get his adrenaline going, and then he brought him back to the studio.
Which really, you can only drive about 40 tops in those like mountainous ranges. So if you're going like 60, it looks like you're flying off the fucking edge. So I can only imagine like this guy is just driving as fast as possible, scaring the shit out of this kid because they're still kids at this point.
Yeah. And what's cool, like when Ross would record with bands, because he would live with the bands too. Like it wasn't just he would go home every day. He would live essentially on the compound as well. And for a lot of these bands, he would make them wake up at like 6 or 7 in the morning and go like on a 5-mile hike. Because where Indigo Ranch was, it was in this giant canyon, and they would hike down into the canyon and then hike back up, and then they would get their day started. Because he's like a very like fitness, nutrition kind of guy. So he never got into the drugs and alcohol, but he kind of allowed it to happen with the bands that came in. But he allowed the partying, but he always like pushed people like, you gotta be healthy. You gotta get out here with me. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. Like, I love just how much he was involved with these bands in the recording. Like he never told them what to write, but he knew how to get the best performances out of these bands in the 90s and early 2000s. He's absolutely fucking incredible. There's nobody like Ross Robinson at all. It's unreal.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's great, man. It's great. And what's cool too is nobody has anything bad to say about him. They always say he's extremely intense, but they love him. People always say that I will never work with Ross again, but I have no regrets working with him. And I love that. I just fucking love that. They appreciate what he did for them, but then they'll easily say they will never work with him again. It's crazy. It's cool.
It's too much an emotional drain.
Yeah,
an emotional drain.
Absolutely.
And
have you ever heard him talk before, Ross Robinson?
He looks. I've never. It's just like the way he looks. He just looks very. I don't know, he looks like he would have been like the backup guitarist in Fugazi. Like he looks very generic.
He does. He has,
you know
like,
what I mean? Like
when you hear him talk, he has like kind of a high voice, and he's very quiet. He's very he never gets loud. He's very calm. It's weird. You would never expect a guy with this kind of reputation to sound like him. And on top of that, like you hear about what he does outside of music, and he's a hardcore like motocross rider. Like that's besides music, all he does is ride motocross. Weird. And like one of his best friends is Vanilla Ice, and they bonded over motocross because that's what they both do. That's like their passion outside of music. So he's like best friends with Vanilla Ice, and he's broken like almost every bone in his body. He broke his back. He actually broke his back, and during I believe the Iowa sessions with Slipknot, his back was broken, and he still was showing up to the studio and still fucking with all the guys. He's like, you have no excuse to not work hard. I came in here with a broken back. Like he was like fucking with the members of the band, even with a broken back. He's like, you have no excuse. And I just like, dude, that is insane. What are you doing?
Oh my God. Even like the Slipknot thing, dude. There's so many fucking people in that goddamn band. Like to even be able to like corral like schedules, right? Scheduling alone.
Yeah.
Like to have everybody there at the same time, if they were there at the same time, if not, or to even like just pace everything around schedules. To have 9 people, it's 9, right?
There's 9 of them. Yeah.
Nine of them, like their schedules, and then you're only one guy, but you have to kind of work with everybody at some point. And so the amount of work he put in is probably more than they did, to be honest. Like,
yeah. Seriously.
It's a lot.
Seriously, man. God, he's so cool. He is so cool. And he would literally be like, if you look at the sessions he did with Korn on really all 3 of the records he did for them, he was when Jonathan was in the vocal booth singing, Ross was always in there, literally sitting right next to Jonathan, like just like staring at him, like just to make him uncomfortable, and like kind of guiding him through, like say like how does this one word make you feel? How does this one line make you feel? And then you could just see in the videos, he's just like fucking staring Jonathan down. Like just, dude, he's so fucking intense. I would love to meet Ross Robinson at some point. God, he's so cool. He's so goddamn cool.
It sounds intense. It sounds exhausting.
Yeah, exactly. That's why most bands never work with him more than once.
It sounds like when I went to fucking like Times Square on New Year's Eve. Like it was the coolest thing I've ever experienced, but fuck,
never again.
Exhausting.
I think the only bands who have ever worked with him more than once are Korn and Slipknot. I think that's it. every other band has only done like one record with him because it's too much. That's cool though. It's fucking cool.
That is cool.
Anyway, 0-2.
0-2.
Let's get into another song. We talked about Indigo Ranch and Ross because
I've got
Ross.
I got my I guess my 1, 2. I got my 4, my 3 Bs plus One Arm Scissors, which is my 7B.
Okay, so what's your 4 then? What do you got for that?
Pattern.
Pattern Nuggets user
Boom,
dilated.
boom, boom, boom.
That's my
I
that's my
love how it
6B.
starts. I love how it ends.
It's
What
fucking
is this for you?
great, dude.
What B is this?
It's my 6.
yeah.
My 6B.
Hey. It starts
Love
and ends
that
the same
hey.
way. Comes and goes.
Yeah.
And the
God,
bass
what
is
a
so
cool
low in this
song.
one too. And I like God, it's a fucking catchy song. I think it's just as catchy as One Arm Scissors. A little bit more pop focused than One Arm Scissors is. A little more
Mhm.
straightforward. But it's good.
It is. Oh, the way he sings, wormed our way through distant earth. Oh, dude, it's so good. I always thought he said wound our way through distant earth. I didn't realize until this week that he said wormed. I like wound better. I think it sounds better, flows better, but
Okay.
whatever. But damn, dude, Paul's bass. I feel like there are some parts in the song where it really cuts through real nice. It really, really does. And Omar and Jim are noodling it up. That also kind of, I think it's ascending. That chord progression during the chorus is fucking so cool. I fucking love it.
There's a lot of parts of the song that I think are just very different than each other. Like I think the bridge is very different than the rest of the song. Like the bridge is very lighthearted. It's kind of way more pop than the rest of the song is.
Mhm.
Right, the way he sings, "In the clock keeps ticking away when this time he hesitated." Like it's a little goofy, but I
Yeah,
like it. I like it.
I do too. One thing I also love is in the first verse. It's one of my favorite things Cedric has ever done. The second line where he says, "Hypodermic people poking fun at
Dude,
the
I love
living."
that so much.
I think that's one of the coolest things he's ever sang. The way he says it and just the lyrics. I love the lyrics in that one single line. It's perfect. Absolutely.
That's in my notes too. That's one of my favorite lines on the album as well, because it's a cool way to like personify the addiction and
Yeah.
the device, right? Like hypodermic people poking fun at the living. Like when you personify something, you're giving human attributes to a non-human thing,
Mhm.
and I think that's cool. That's just good fucking songwriting. That's that shit Bob Dylan did all the time. That's fine.
Well, Bob Dylan. Come on, you
Well-
can't compare the two.
You're right. There's no comparison.
Yeah, I mean, At the
Good
Drive
call
is
on that
so
one.
much fucking better. It's crazy better than Bob Dylan. Bob Dole. God, I hate that we both said it at the same time. Also, I mean, I already sang it, but you know, pattern nuggets user dilated, bastard waiting for nothing. Oh, I love it. And then just the background vocals, the following. Oh, it's great, man.
The
back and forth.
That's the number production. I don't know what the fuck he says half the time.
I don't
I
either.
like to just
It's just fun to sing
repeat
it.
words. Yeah.
And I agree with you too. That bridge, it doesn't sound like it really belongs, but it is the perfect bridge for it because the song has the right amount of chaos, the right amount of melody in the chorus, and then you get this kind of quiet bridge. And if this clock keeps ticking away, will time be hesitated? And then it builds. You know,
watch be waiting.
yeah,
Those little high
it's a
notes
great
that are getting
build.
thrown in
Oh, it's great, man.
there.
It's a great song, man. It's a
Yep.
great.
No,
one.
that's a good one. That's a 4B right there. Tell you
All
what.
right, let's play it real quick. We'll talk about a couple other songs and then kind of wrap it up. Sound good?
Yeah. No, that's whatever. I could talk about every fucking one of these songs.
That's true. We could. So here's a Pattern Against User from At the Drive-In. So this was your. Do we have anything else on this lyrically, musically?
No.
What do you think?
I think we should just run through every song as real quick because
Okay.
I do think each one of these are very important.
Yeah, let's do it. So
Maybe
Uh,
like we'll start with Sleepwalk. What B is this for you? What do you love about it? And then move on.
okay, sounds good. Sleepwalk is my 7B. It starts out heavy right away. The back and forth of Cedric and Jim is fucking solid. That bridge incorporating the the bridge uses that same main riff, but adds that high guitar part. Oh, it's perfect. It's just the right amount of that. It's absolute perfection. I fucking love Sleepwalk Capsules. This is one that dropped though. I thought this was going to be a lot higher in my ratings, but it really did drop. But it's still a fucking banger. So what do you got on this one?
What B was this for you again?
This is my 7B.
So Sleepwalk is my 5B.
Okay.
I like the sequencing coming right off of One Arm Scissors. There's a lot of noise at the end of One Arm Scissors.
Yeah.
And so you think it may go into like Invalid Letter Department, but it goes into Sleepwalk, and it's fucking chaotic.
Yeah.
I like
right off
Cedric's
the bat.
pacing. I like his delivery. The bridge, I think, is very, very early at the drive-in. Kind of melodic, kind of goofy. And that riff right after the bridge, dude, it's just so fucking good. And this, I don't know, there's like this sort of dueling riff in that last verse. Man, that's the shit, dude. This song is good.
It really is. So we got Mannequin Republic. We haven't talked about yet. This is my 4B.
Where's
Where's the
6B?
Okay. So what do you got on this one?
Dude, that bass line, so nice. This drops so nice, and Cedric he just fucking screams. Like, fuck it. Just scream, bro. I love how the lead guitar and bass play off each other here, like they're dueling. And I think this song is more about music than it is about Cedric. Cedric's kind of coming in afterwards. And that first chorus to that little instrumental bit, god damn, is so sick. And then we get that fall and that Cedric scream again. Woo!
I agree. This is definitely more of a punk song. This one's, I always, whenever I play the drums like by myself with just like earbuds in, I love playing Mannequin Republic. It's a pretty I don't want to say basic song, but it's just a fucking ton of fun to play. It's more of a bass driven song. And because his bass fucking cuts through so nice. And I love the quick stops. It drops into like that heavy wild riff, then back into the fast paced like kind of punk thing. Like it's a back and forth song, but it never loses its intensity. I fucking love Mannequin Republic.
Killer.
So that's my 4. So then we get we drop down into which we haven't talked about, Rolodex Propaganda. This is the Iggy Pop one. Where does this one sit for you?
It's my 10B.
Okay, this is my 5B.
I guess this would be the second worst song on the album for
Really?
me.
You think
if I
so?
were doing B's, yeah.
But why?
I love that. I do really love this fucking song. And it's just a matter of I have 9 songs that I think are better. This one's crazy. There's a lot of guitar noise. I think the gang vocals, like the song reminds me of a more straightforward, kind of like post-hardcore sound of their early days, just with better guitars. I think Iggy Pop brings the fucking heat on this one. I love the way he says replica. The replica! Like he's just being a total douche about it.
He does, yeah.
Man, this like bringing it back, just to picture them in the studio is just like, this is
so
it. Iggy Pop
awkward.
is just on a different fucking plane.
Yeah.
Right. And again, I'm not a big Iggy Pop fan or Stooges or whatever, but like clearly I know that Iggy Pop is just on a different plane than at the drive-in at this point. But it's good. There's a little bit of like background soundscapes from the keyboards that take a little bit away from me here. And I think that's why it's so low.
The soundscapes? Or the
Yeah,
synth?
especially the keyboards. There's a lot of synth sounds.
Yeah, there is.
Nah.
Well, even when they would play the song live, Cedric would actually play guitar and Jim would play the synth and do obviously the back and forth vocals. And I like that. Like I like that Cedric could play, like it was very, very easy guitar parts. And then of course Omar was doing his whole thing. But also what was cool live was that, you had all 3 of them singing, because Omar would sing Iggy Pop's parts. Cedric and Jim would sing their parts. But it was just cool seeing the band be so collaborative and so
involved.
fucking on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, involved. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. But I actually really like the synth. I think it was a really good touch to this entire song. I really like that part. Iggy Pop he just sounds out of his fucking mind on this. And the whole story behind that, real quick, is that Omar jokingly said, "Oh, we should get Iggy Pop on the record." And actually Iggy was talking about doing a record with Ross Robinson, and Ross was like, "Well, I know him, I'll call him." And he just showed up like the next day, and he spent the whole day in the studio with him, and then they recorded this song along with the intro to Enfilade. So yeah, it was kind of like a last minute thing that they had no idea that Iggy Pop would actually show up to do this out of like a wild suggestion. So this song is it's a very, very straightforward song. Nothing too crazy, no crazy noodling, nothing like that. I love it. I love the song for its simplicity musically and then the craziness of the vocals. Because Jim does a lot of cool shit on this song too, vocally, which I really like. But anyway, what are you gonna whatever. Let's get into Quarantined. What do you got on this one? Where does this sit for you?
It's my 8B. Fucking sick bass line. I love the way everyone comes in. It's just so damn smooth. There's some really amazing vocal melodies on this song, like especially the chorus. The music is kind of like setting up Cedric's parts super well. And I think this song is more of like a Cedric song than anything else. Yeah. But there are some really, really cool, like amazing musical parts. And it's not often on this album where like I'm focusing more on the melodies of the vocals than I am the music, because obviously it's at the drive-in. There's a lot of staccato stuff, a lot of aggressive, frantic shit. But this song, I think Cedric really tried hard on.
Yeah, I would agree. He did. This song, obviously it's a slower jam. I got, not just because of the thunderstorm that starts the song off, but there is so much Black Sabbath on this song with that bass line. That killer bass line is very kind of...
Yeah, that's...
It's not as busy. It's not as busy as Geezer, but it's... Dude, the tone, it's the tone. The tone of it, the song is very kind of stoner rock in moments. There's a nice little build-up that happens. And the back and forth between Cedric and Jim is fucking great, too. Like... That's like we've talked about. It's so underrated.
It's contagious.
It's great, man. It's a great one. And we touched upon the lyrics a little bit on this one, kind of bringing it back, to human trafficking and all that. But Quarantine's a good one. This is my 10B. If we're taking out the bonus tracks, this is my 10B.
It's my 8B.
So good song though. Good song.
Good song. Great
so
song.
Cosmonaut. Where does that sit for you?
Cosmonaut. This is my 9B. I love the guitar riff. I think it's unique, even for this type of record. I think this is one of the most unique guitar riffs on the record. There's a lot of hardcore elements to this one, like a lot of that staccato breakdown sounding shit, but just they're not making it a breakdown. They're just incorporating it into the music. And this is my most forgotten about song on the album is Cosmonaut. Yeah. Even reading the lyrics, when I was just kind of like going through the lyrics, I was like, how the fuck does this go? I couldn't remember how it went, even reading the lyrics. But it's still as hectic as most of the album. And it brings some like decent vocal melodies too, and cool guitar parts. I like it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. This is, besides some of the slower songs, this is one of the ones, I don't want to say it's forgotten, but it's, yeah.
Forgotten.
It is kind of forgotten. But then when you listen to it, it really hits so hard. I think it's because it's not like an overly catchy song like, One Arm Scissor, fucking any of the songs, really. This is like one of the least catchiest songs, but overall it's a pretty heavy and aggressive one. There's some pretty cool drum parts going into the chorus. I don't know, it's just a good song, but nothing really stands out. So that's why it's kind of a lower B for me too. So this is my 9B as well.
Okay. So, and then Non-Zero.
Yeah, technically the last song on the record. So this is my least favorite song.
That's my 11B.
Yeah, same here. Or my 13B if I was.
There are things that I like about it. Like what's cool about this one is how it goes from straight like ballad to a blend of their own At the Drive-In specific, iconic, unique sound, but it's still a ballad. I think the piano is cool. And adding that like zappy noise sound, fucking whatever that is, to the end of the verse before the chorus hits, I think it's a cool ad. It's cute. I dig.
Yeah.
And my favorite, like maybe my favorite part of the entire album, Cedric wise, is the way he sings "Let's Just Paint Your Pretty Face." The way he sings that, man, it's solid.
I don't remember that part.
Paint your pretty face. If I could sing better, I would, but that's how he sounds.
I mean,
it's so good.
You and I are really amazing singers, and we deserve to have
the best.
Yeah, we deserve to have.
We're just as good as Tom and Mark. Fuck, man, come on.
Non-Zero Possibility, though. It's just it starts with that piano. It doesn't really. The song doesn't go anywhere. It's just kind of a lot of the same kind of ballad, slower jam thing. It's a good song, but like I said with Invalid, it's just when I listen to this record, when I listen to this band, I want to hear chaos. And this song doesn't deliver that, but it's still a good song, just not really in the context of this record. But I understand it's necessity, because you can't have all chaos. Well, you can, but it's not going to make for a well-rounded record. But anyway,
but like that's what Invalid Letter Department should have been. Invalid Letter Department should have been the only song, or one of the only few songs that sounded like that.
I agree.
I think you could have cut the Non-Zero and Cosmonaut and added Catacombs and Extracurricular, and it'd been fine.
I agree. I mean, the only thing I want to say about the 2 bonus songs, Catacombs, that is it's the most aggressive song on the record.
Dude, it's so fucking
is.
good. The little guitar part in the beginning, that's just Omar
Yes.
doing that chord fucking thing. That
Yes.
Oh my god, that reminds me. So okay, so in the beginning part where Omar's the
Lavia?
that reminds me so much of I Am Alpha.
Oh, really? Okay.
Dude, like
Friends
I
of
don't
the
know.
Pod, Dane and Wes. Yeah.
Dude, friends of the pod, Dane and Wes. I don't know if they drew inspiration, but I remember they did a song and it sounded so much like that. I was like, oh my god, this sounds
I
like
don't remember
them.
that. Okay.
But god damn, Catacombs. Catacombs is my favorite of the 2, Extracurricular and Catacombs.
Mhm.
But I do like extracurricular. It just goes in. Oh my god, the songs are so good.
It's so rushed when he sings that part too. I love it. But Catacombs, man, it's the pace of it is fast. It's just Cedric screaming his fucking head off the entire time. Like there are parts where it's just the drums doing that beat, and then Omar or Jim, whoever, is just playing that kind of offbeat guitar chord. I mean, and then Cedric is just losing his fucking mind screaming. It's such a crazy cool song, and it sucks that it wasn't on. I mean, it's on the record, but I don't know,
What a
man.
fucking banger.
What a closer! Catacombs
Yeah.
is fucking an insane.
If Catacombs is we'll say Catacombs is the closer,
Yeah.
and that's
we gotta do that.
That's a closer. That's a closer,
It
dude.
is, dude. That's what you call a closer, dude. Well,
Wow.
all right. So we did it. Let's
Look at that.
Let's give our final thoughts on Relationship of Command, and we will rate this based off of our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album but give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So what do you got? Go.
So many thoughts just running through my head. I guess I will say that like my favorite part this week was listening to Omar, and then realizing how great Jim was, and how much influence Jim had on Omar's writing overall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Omar would be where he is today had it not been for like Jim's overbearing rhythmic tone. I think because you can fucking hear it. You can hear the first couple EPs, and then when Omar was on bass, it's all rhythm guitar. There's really no solos. There's no high-end guitar. When Omar jumps to the high-end guitar parts, then you kind of hear like Omar starting to like become in like the infancy stage, but Jim's still like beating him down with that rhythm, like rhythm, bro, rhythm. And like I've never taken guitar lessons, but I've been to guitar lessons for other people, and I know that like the thing they teach you in the beginning is to keep time. Like time is everything. And I've jammed with people that have never taken lessons, including myself, where time has been like the downfall of jam sessions. If you can't keep time, then you're fucking just go home. It's awful. And I think Jim helped shape Omar to be what he is today. And I've never realized that until this week. And I think Jim is an underappreciated member of this band.
Agreed.
But I don't think that he's done anything extravagant outside of just helping Omar to be the best he could be.
He's been a great rhythm player.
But goddamn, man, this band, to call this band like post-hardcore is just like I don't know. It just feels weird. I can't even think of another band to pigeonhole them into a certain genre that does not even correctly identify what they even sound like. So at the drive-in is just something so unique. They were something so unique. They are something so unique. Even Interalia is very, very unique in the scope of post-hardcore dumb. I don't know. This album's perfect. This is a 3 out of 3. That's silly boy talk to think otherwise. I was reading this one article, or this one. Yeah, there was an article. I think it was the Guardian or Pitchfork or somebody gave this album like a 6.1 out of 10 when it came out. God damn it! You should check it out. It's one of the citations on Wikipedia, and you can read it. And the article was written in the form of a mock debate between Al Gore and George Bush.
What?
And let me tell you, I've read a lot of dumb fucking articles in my life, a lot. But this is maybe the worst fucking thing I've ever read in my goddamn life. Somebody thought that was a good idea of writing a mock. I can't. I'm just read it. It's so bad.
That sounds so bad.
It's so dumb. It's fucking pathetic. And they give it 6.1 out of 10.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You're an idiot. That's dumb. You're dumb. No, this is a perfect album. I think everybody here shines in a way that nobody else has ever done in this genre of music. And yeah, Omar says he's a little unhappy with the Wallace mix. I get it. I would really love to see an album after this, right after this, from At the Drive-In, because I think this is like their Nevermind. But I really would have loved to hear like an In Utero from them a couple years, maybe even a year after this, without like a big name producer.
Yeah. What would be so cool, like if they had somebody mix this record who's not Omar, and had them mix it, less polished than Andy Wallace. I would totally be down to hear a remixed version of this record. That'd be so
just
sick.
even dude, throw me demos, bro. Throw me demos, throw me takes, throw me just riffs, throw me whatever the fuck you got. I don't know. Give me a box set. Fuck, man. Why is Record Store Day 2024 box set Relationship of Command? That should have happened 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
True. We can do the fucking 25th anniversary in 2 years.
Dude.
Can you imagine a fucking massive At the Drive-In box set?
God damn.
With all the EPs, the LPs, with Relationship we get the demos of all the songs. Can you fucking imagine how amazing that would be?
I don't know what this even means, but when I'm playing on Spotify, some of these, it says Clouds Hill at the bottom of the Spotify thing. So
that's the Drive-In?
I'm pretty sure it was At the Drive-In.
Last I heard, Clouds Hill didn't get the they didn't get the rights to At the Drive-In. Yeah, because if you look at, because I'm on Relationship of Command, if you go to the bottom, it's not Clouds Hill.
Fucking bitch.
Yeah, Relationship's not, because I remember that was a thing when they were talking about, re-releasing old Cedric Omar stuff. At the Drive-In wasn't in the cards because it was because of record label stuff or whatever. Yeah, if you look at In Casino Out, it still says Fearless Records, a division of Concord.
Yeah, so does fucking Acrobatic and
Interalia,
which
Interalia is Rise,
that expensive from buying from Rise Records.
But I know Diamante is Clouds Hill. Oh no, Diamante is Rise. Oh shit, I thought it was Clouds Hill, but it says it's Rise. Copyright Rise. All right, well,
I don't know if there's any bone in Johan's body that is just or not.
Well, there's
obnoxiously fucked. Then he should. I don't know. Give us a At the Drive-In box set. Give us a fucking de facto box. I don't care.
Well, Clouds Hill did do de facto, because that's why de facto is on Spotify now, or on the streaming sites now, because Clouds Hill got everything. They got everything Omar did except for At the Drive-In. Everything. I think even Anti-Mask. But yeah, so At the Drive-In is the only thing. So if you look on de facto, I'm pretty sure it's going to say Clouds Hill.
Maybe that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Because they I remember him when the fucking Mars Volta box set came out, he was teasing, doing a de facto thing, doing an Omar box set, but it being like $5,000 because it's like 100 records.
Wow,
some
what
shit
a
like that.
bitch, dude. First of all, don't fucking tease anything unless you have definite plans to
Yeah.
actually release it. And second
I
of all,
agree.
don't fucking tease something that is so far beyond like the reach of a normal person.
Yeah.
Who the
Absolutely.
fuck has 5,000? Fuck off. Now I'm mad. I'm mad.
I'm
Ty.
mad. I'm mad. So mad. All right,
It's
my
still get
final
a perfect 3 though.
my final thoughts on Relationship of Command. This is something very unique within the genre, within the music industry. Nothing has really sounded like At the Drive-In. Still has never sounded like At the Drive-In. Because Cedric, Omar, like everything about this band is so unique. The closest band that you could compare it to, which we didn't even talk about, would be Refused. What Refused was doing a couple years prior to Relationship of Command is very much in the same vein as what this record is. So I feel like they took a lot from Refused, which a lot of bands did. I know your thoughts on Refused, you're very kind of lukewarm on it, but they are truly an
I like the
inspirational
album that
band.
we did. I fucking own on the vinyls. I bought it.
Oh, that's right, you did. You did buy The Shape
I
of
think I give it a perfect 3. It's a
You
fantastic
did, that's right,
album.
that's right. But you still talked a lot of shit.
Because everything else is fucking dumb.
Dude, just get out of here. That's stupid. Silly boy talk. Anyway, what they did was so unique, sonically, musically, vocally. Everything was so cool. Ross Robinson being involved, which we already talked about a lot, or I did. I don't know, man. I don't give a fuck. It's a 3 out of 3. I don't do it often. I don't give this kind of rating a lot. It's a 3 out of 3. It's perfect. I got the OG pressing. I'm stoked I got the OG pressing. I'm just happy to be here, guys. Just happy to be here.
I'm just happy to be here.
So, I don't know, man. I don't know, Jerry.
God damn, this is a good fucking album.
It truly is. There's nothing like Relationship of Command.
Damn,
So-
like we do some albums on the pod, and then we do some fucking albums on the pod.
We
Like,
do
this is one of
Poison on
those
the
albums.
pod. And we do fucking. I don't know, whatever. I'm tired.
I'm crazy for that one, Rick.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I got. Do you have anything else?
That's it. That's all.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Hope you enjoyed it. New metal season has officially ended with this record, even though it's not a new metal record. It's officially ended. And next week is going to be good. So that's it. That's all.
And he like grabs it because he's like, "Oh yeah, this hit me kind of hard." And like, dude, I guess we can talk about Big Day Out now because
Might as well, yeah.
Omar and Cedric were out of control. Fucking
Yeah.
out of control. At some point, Cedric shoves his mic under the back of Omar's t-shirt and sings through his t-shirt. And then he
gonna
gets
bring
mad at the fucking crowd for moshing. And like Omar doesn't even like miss a beat. Doesn't even
Yeah.
didn't even fucking notice.
Yeah, because he's fucking guitars flying around.
And this is like peak Omar when he has his like legs together, and then the
Yeah.
next like millisecond they're like splitting.
They're
apart.
noodles. Yeah, they're fucking.
Yeah.
His legs are like noodles. It's fucking insane.